Hello, my name is North, and I'm bringing you a Devil's Third Wii U News Roundup video onto my channel. Famitsu did an interview with the Devil's Third producer, and basically in the interview we got details about the story and online multiplayer. So within this video I will be rounding up all of the details that got revealed in that interview. So one of the questions in the interview was, there's a remark in the latest trailer saying, "Here comes a new breed of action. Can you tell me what makes it a new breed?" This is what Tagaki had to say. "I'm extremely vocal and picky when it comes to the touch and feel of the controls. Once you get your hands on it and try it for yourself, I think you'll understand. I took a long hard look at both the action and shooter genres and figured out what they were lacking and brought them both to a new level. Improvements have been made to the game since E3. I know a lot of people have said that the game looks rubbish, that the graphics and animations in the game look terrible. This is what Artagaki had to say about that. What was shown in the E3 trailer is only just one small part. We've poured our identity into every part of this game. Since E3, we've made major improvements in every area, from graphics to animations to playability. I know there will be some reactions like, what the hell is this? But for now, we'll just keep charging straight ahead." So I'm glad that they have made improvements to the game since E3. I'm not really bothered about how the game looks, as long as the game is fun to play. Then for me, that is the most important thing. So another question from the interview was, "Can you give me a little bit more in-depth information about the story settings?" This is what Artagaki had to say. "The enemy that appears in this game is the School of Democracy, or SOD for short, which are a group of soldiers from the former Soviet Union who didn't want to return to the current Russia or anywhere else. Instead, they've set their sights on simultaneous world revolution, even disguising themselves as terrorists to achieve their goal. This story is fiction and takes place in a parallel universe, but it's not a completely unbelievable proposition. These SOD soldiers destroy most of the satellites in orbit with anti-satellite weapons, as well as creating an EMP by exploding nuclear bombs at high altitude, which renders nearly all modern weapons that are heavily reliant on computers unusable. What this does is cause the world to lose its ability to use unmanned and long-range weapons, and conflicts return to the age of hand-to-hand infantry with small arms and melee weapons in use. This setting is to provide a little realism as a shooter, and well, I'm a big military fan as well, so I didn't want to create a world and story that was totally unbelievable. Recently, the Kessler syndrome has been featured in other forms of entertainment. Ours is a worst case scenario, but it's still a very real possibility. I know it's a scenario that I'm creating myself, but it's one that I hope will only happen in a video game. This is another question that Famitsu asked. "Since online play is the main feature of this game, you earlier said this game was being played by 16 players. How many players can play at a time?" 16 players as previously scheduled is what Aratagaki had to say. "We are now in the final stage of adjustments to hit that target. So the online play will be 16 players, so it might be 8v8, or if it's a free-for-all sort of game mode, then it might be 16 players, but 16 players online, that is pretty good. You earlier said you wanted to bring in unprecedented features for online as well. What sort of elements did you implement in the game? I understand you can't reveal them in detail, but I'll be glad if you can indicate even a rough direction? That is one of the Famitsu questions as well. This is what Artagaki answered. This game is not merely a shooter, but one set in a world where the Kessler Syndrome and an EMP has destroyed nearly all infrastructures that relied on electronics. This time players will participate in the North America campaign, a battle for survival that takes place in different areas around the North America continent. Everyone begins their journey as just a regular guy or girl, starting off with just an iron pipe you happened to find on the ground, or a simple gun. Battles pop up all over the place, and you can choose to make your way in the world by either becoming a solitary mercenary or organising with other players to create a band of vigilantes or an armed organisation. It might be easy to think of them as clans or guilds. Simply put, this is a massive shooter game to be played on a scale of tens of thousands of people for domination of the North American continent. In addition, there is a sport shooter mode which allows you to play this game more casually. As we showed in the trailer, there are some fun comical play modes such as collecting chickens or a ball toss game involving giant blenders. Anything goes. This is a Wii U exclusive title. Did you include any features unique to the Wii U, such as the Wii U gamepad? This is what Artagaki had to say. Taking advantage of a hardware's feature is my policy, so the gamepad will be featured, yes. It isn't designed to be obtrusive. It should make you think, now that makes sense. We did get some more details about the Wii U gamepad features in Devil's Third. I did make a video about that a couple of months ago, so I will leave a link to that video in the description for you guys to check out. Can you tell me the attractive features of the Wii U's hardware? This is what Artagaki answered. It might sound surprising to you, but the Wii U is actually a very flexible hardware and library. We've been able to add necessary functions to it, and it has definitely been satisfying. We are using the Unreal Engine, and we've added a ton of our own modification to that as well. This might be too much of a tangent, but after my family and my team's family heard we are developing on Nintendo's hardware, their interest in the game has gone way up. Also in the Famitsu article, Artagaki said that they are working on putting on the final touches on Devil's Third, which sounds like to me that the game is close to being finished, so maybe this game will come out in 2015. I thought this game would come out in 2016, but it sounds like to me that this game will come out sooner than I first thought. I'm glad about that. I'm glad that we might get the game in 2015. I'm definitely looking forward to this game. So the last question that Famitsu asked was, this is going to be the first consumer title for Valhalla. Looking back at years until now, can you tell me your impressions? This is what Artagaki had to say. This is a game to be kept up and operating for a long time. Therefore, its release is not the goal of this game, but rather its starting point. We have partnered with Soft Gear, a Tokyo company specializing in online gaming, to run the online portion. That sounds really promising, and they are real professionals in this field. Valhalla, Nintendo and Soft Gear will continue to combine our strengths to operate this game going forward into the future. We are planning to put out content updates, and we want to continue to have fun developing and working with our players towards a new frontier. So that sounds like to me that Devil's Third will get patches if it needs them, and it sounds like to me that DLC will get released for Devil's Third. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. I'm really looking forward to this game. Can't wait to play the story. The campaign sounds interesting to me, and the online multiplayer as well. That sounds really interesting. I like how a company that has experience in that field will be taking care of the online multiplayer. So I think they'll take care of like the servers and all that sort of thing. So that sounds pretty cool. That sounds quite promising actually. So hopefully the online will be really fun to play. I'm sure it will be. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Devil's Third. I hope it does come out next year. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to talk about within this video. I'm out of here for now. Goodbye.